All right. So, on to another kind of
One of our in-between
podcasts. Just the two of us. Just the two of us. That should be called. Just the two of us podcast.
It should probably start with a little Will Smith.
What's that song?
Just the two of us. You and I.
Yeah. You and I. Yeah, exactly. We might need to add that in. All right. Today we're going to talk about, it's kind of more of a personal topic. I think it came up in conversation when we were just casually talking throughout what the week's looking like, the work day. We were standing there and kind of just like, holy shit, like I realized this, and it's the need to always feel productive. And I feel like I'm just going to start it right off by going into it. I feel like for myself, this came up because I've realized it during, especially opening a gym, especially having to be active all the time, that I almost am not good. I think it was almost like going on a trip to Montauk this summer. I think that's when it came up, and sitting by the beach. It's like almost like I'm not content with doing nothing and sitting down and doing nothing. It's almost hard, which is weird, you know, because it's almost like the brain, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate, and that's why we're talking about it. The brain craves work. The brain craves progress.
Especially if you're a goal-oriented person, right?
Yeah.
You almost feel like you're not accomplishing things if you're not in action of accomplishing something, right? So your brain's always going to be, and we're just living a highly stimulating environment, right? You just like at your fingertips, you have things that are going to give you kind of that check, or that you achieve something,
the fulfillment,
right? Or that serotonin, right? That you need, dopamine,
yep.
A little dopamine hit, right? By going on something, seeing something that's even just cool on your phone, or accomplishing a task like opening up your email right first thing in the morning and responding to something.
You feel like you're getting something done.
To accomplish something.
I think
that's also, so one, if you're a goal-oriented person, right, like that's going to be something that's just kind of on your, like, even if, I don't even mean like something that's like high-driven, but just like you feel like you're someone that like needs to accomplish tasks. You're always just kind of mind just going.
Like can't have downtime.
Yeah,
almost.
Exactly. And then also, right, as people that are entrepreneurs, right, building businesses, you kind of feel like you always have to be busy, right? Or it's like, am I letting my business down if I'm not doing something right now?
And it's almost like, I think I've experienced that, where it's the need of always feeling like I have to do something for the business, but like it's a Saturday afternoon, and what I should be doing that's going to benefit the business the most is doing nothing, probably, to rest a little bit and focus, right? Because burnout can be real for anyone, with whatever they take on, whatever stress they take on, however your brain and your system works. Certain people handle it better more than others, but yeah, it's something that can creep up pretty fast. And I think, like, being a college student, I started to realize, like, I wanted to work hard. I wanted to do something for myself. I wanted to be in the gym all the time. I wanted to always be feeding my brain with information that could be helping me. Right? Everything needed to have a benefit. The food I was eating, the workout I was doing, the information I was listening to or watching, and like I almost started to realize that early, but watching a movie was almost like difficult for 2 hours, just to hang out and kind of veg out on the couch and just chill for 2 hours. And I feel like that's almost even more of a struggle now, because now we have this growing, real, living, breathing entity of a business,
that you can
and it's
see
like,
the growth of.
Oh my God! If you know, we see something go the wrong way, and it's like, oh man, well, last Saturday, if I looked and did more work and tried to do more, maybe that wouldn't have happened. You know, I feel like that's the fear almost you're talking about.
Yeah.
But
I think it's also like hard, like even in my personal, it's right where it's like, I have a tough time sitting on a beach, right? I think we've talked about that. I can't just like sit on a beach and like just kind of chill out. Like maybe I can throw a podcast on and read a book, but I'm going to feel like I need to be accomplishing something.
And even then, you're still feeding yourself with almost information that could be useful, or you feel like you're getting some type of progress done in it's like somewhere. Right.
But it's even like I kind of even built this transition from being in corporate America, working at a job, to like being able to build outside streams and build a business like all of my like off hours. So now even when I feel like I go home, I still feel like I have to pop my laptop open. I have to be on my phone and doing things. And I'm saying this even in an environment where like my kids are running around and my wife is there, right? So I have to kind of tell myself, and she has to tell me too, like, take a second. Right? Your kids are gonna go to bed at 8:30. Like, put your laptop away, like put your phone down. But I always feel like there's another opportunity to do something, and honestly, that's probably just, and this could be on both of our ends, right? It's probably bad time management,
Totally.
right? So it's like,
Totally.
how, as a business owner, and I think that this is kind of like how it wraps into everything we talk about, is so it's we're struggling with this thought of always having to be productive, but it's, if I was on the other side of that and I create an efficient plan for my productivity. So I said from this hour to this hour we're gonna do this, and right. So then at 6 p.m. you're saying I accomplished everything I was supposed to accomplish today. I'm okay. Right now, give yourself those 2 hours or whatever it is to bedtime to say like I can have downtime. It's almost like trying to create that plan, like kind of what you always talk about.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I agree. I think a plan is something that I've always lacked because I mean, it was easier in school because you had the agenda. I could write down my concrete homework assignments for the day.
Yeah.
And now I almost struggle with creating a plan because there's almost so much that will pop into my brain because I know things have to get done. But when I'm sitting there quietly and I'm saying, okay, I'm going to plan the week out at this hour for the next 5 days, I can't think of almost everything that I have to get done because it's not all there at that moment, right? It's like, oh wait. Then I wake up the next morning, I'm like, oh, you know what? I had to text this person. Okay, cool. But in that, kind of what you said of the lack of a plan might be causing it. I feel like almost for myself, something that plays a role is, like you said, you're on the phone, everything's accessible. You feel like you just, like, opening your phone can kind of be falsely equated to feeling productive. But you get wrapped up in these traps of social media and it almost gets more in the way. But I've also realized that there's moments when if I have no one around me and I'm just chilling out and I choose to look at my phone a little bit and scroll through Instagram on our 8Well page, I've actually almost realized something or maybe made a note on something I have to get done that week. And it's been something that could be productive.
Something that just like sparks inspiration.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh wait, I saw this person post this, or I commented on this person's post Saturday, 8 o'clock. I wouldn't have been on my phone if I just chose to be completely away from it. So there's still that tick in me of like, how do I almost align myself to say it's okay to not do anything and be okay with that when there's the chance that I could interact with something or somebody and it could further the business in a sense. And it's almost like realizing that that's great. Like you have to be okay with not almost taking to the insecurity of, this is myself talking to myself almost, right? Taking to the insecurity of the missed opportunity or the insecurity that you have of, oh, something could just not happen or it could move in the wrong direction, right? So yeah, right. That's the basis of this podcast because I struggle with it. We've talked about it, and I hope that a lot of people can relate. And you know, I've listened to other podcasts. Once again, listening to podcasts to fill time, but make sure you're productive in that time.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes I feel like if I just don't listen to something and I sit with my own thoughts, I almost spark new ideas in my head about things rather than just absorbing what someone else is putting out, which is kind of a really interesting thought to play with. But something that I heard a little while ago, probably within the last, 8 or 10 months, was almost saying that kids nowadays have a lower attention span and they actually feel boredom more often, like the feeling of being bored, because there's so many things and so many options that they have.
Yeah. So as soon as they're not doing something that's super highly stimulating, it feels like it's boredom, right? Whatever that may mean to them. Yeah.
It's like if you go on social media, you have 1,000 people that you could touch at any second. You can click on a video, click on a video, click on a video.
You can watch your favorite. The kids can watch their favorite show.
Yeah.
Right. Every episode of it and the next one, they can watch it. YouTube's over and over again without having to sit by themselves. Right. We had to wait. There were commercials. Right? Our shows only came on at a certain time.
Yep.
And then also, I think that there was a bigger push for, like, I was sent outside.
Yeah.
Right. You had to go figure it out. Like, there was also didn't bring a game out there. Didn't do anything. Right. You were just outside, and you had to be creative and use your brain to kind of fill that time.
Yeah.
And I think also, like, a point is like boredom is also being able to be bored is good. Right, being able to just kind of be with yourself. But I think that the issue that they're even seeing there, and probably in that study too, is like the way they're reaching boredom, like being in this state of boredom, right, just happens more frequently to them than it did to kids any generation ago, because there's so much at their fingertips that they can.
It's like paralysis by like indecisiveness of whatever's surrounding them, the different toys that they get. If they get 38 different toys every year for birthday, Christmas, whatever. And right, just thinking back even to myself, like when I was a kid, if I put on the GameCube or something to play a game, like that's all I might have wanted to do, and I was content and
Yeah.
happy, and I was looking forward to it. When it was done, it was done, and then I was going on to watch the Mets game that I knew I wanted to watch that night. Now I almost feel like with like so much going on in my head with the business, if I wanted to try to play a video game or just chill out and watch a movie, I'm like I almost don't even feel fulfilled by doing that because there's so much, it's such a difficulty of taking a step back
Yeah,
and
it's
just enjoying
also
a sports game almost.
probably
too,
think about what you also do if you're watching a game today or you're watching a movie. Your phone's probably out. I know, like if all right, if the kids aren't around, we're watching a movie
Yeah.
or something. I also have to be conscious of not having my phone and laptop out.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
because I'm gonna watch a show, watch TV or something. Right with my wife next to me, and like there are plenty of instances where my phone and my laptop are out because I got the spreadsheet to update. I got I got someone to reach out to. Right, there's a message that I probably should respond to if I want this person to come into the gym on Monday. Right, but it's like this can probably wait, and you can just spend some time and kind of chill out doing nothing.
Yeah, it's a bizarre concept of like it goes back to being present too. I think we hear all these quotes of like, oh, work on being present, work on being mindful, and that's almost like why people talk about meditation. We brought up meditation on this podcast before, and that could be whatever form of meditation you want, but it all comes back to almost being present. And I'm going to go there just because there was a thought that I had literally in the shower a couple months ago of like, I got home, it was a Friday, I knew I was going to be up early the next morning. I walk into the apartment and, right, Victoria's out, she was going to work, she was working her night shift, so I was like, oh, it's like 6:30, 6:45. I'm like in the shower, I almost couldn't wait. I was like, awaiting the thought of relaxation right when I got home, just to like hang out and not do something. But it almost turned into my brain being like, let's shower faster so we can get more relaxed faster, and let's like do this.
Like
but now I'm
pushing
like
through these things, and now you can't even enjoy these other things because right, you gotta go get to be relaxed, right?
Yeah.
When all of this could be relaxing.
Yeah, and it's
you're almost
like
causing undue stress on
yeah,
yourself.
I turn the water on, it's warm water, and I'm like, why am I like rushing through this? Like this should be a good, calming, quieting experience of just like I could sit in the shower for 20 minutes and just hang out and breathe and just like de-stress.
Yeah.
But it's like, why is my mind going to the point of like, I want to finish this shower so I can get to some of the dishes in the sink, so I can get to, thinking about what I'm going to do tomorrow, and then trying to find a movie I'm going to watch, but maybe not being happy about picking the movie I'm going to watch.
Forever. Yeah.
And it's like such a weird concept. Rambling on and on about this right now, but it's like a real thing of like, all I had to do was be present and just like be like, tomorrow's tomorrow. Today the work day was done. It's a Friday. Allow myself some time. Let me just sit and enjoy the warm shower water. Like literally,
allow that to be part of this relaxing time for you.
And just hang out, just be present and just live, for that moment. It's kind of interesting.
I think for me, right, as we kind of think about this concept of allowing yourself to not always be hyper productive at all points in times, like if we were just thinking about some tips for people to take from this. So, okay, the overarching is just that we're kind of always needing to be highly stimulated and always feel like we're being productive. I know for me, probably the tip one is that I have to kind of create a production plan for myself. So it's like I first break down like what are the things I'm trying to accomplish for each day, and I know that helps me kind of stay on track. So if I want to do sales stuff in the morning, then I want to reach out some emails, right? Break up your day that way. So you know that. So right, again, if I came back to kind of being a goal-oriented person, I can check the box. All right, I did those things. So like when I finish my day, I can say, oh, look at the things I accomplished, as opposed to I have no idea what I accomplished. Now I feel like I have to be busy. And then it also goes, and then my second, we go back to, you made a point about almost feeling like you can come up with good things when you actually don't put a podcast in and you kind of sit. Like I almost allow for my first 30 minutes or hour or so of my day at the desk to just kind of be like a deep thought kind of thing, right? So it's like kind of when you're most creative, like caffeine just hits, like everything is still fresh, like I do a bad job of not going to emails first and answering things, but when I don't, I can kind of sit in that for a little bit, right? I can kind of have my best deep thought kind of experiences. So like the things that I want to be creative about, right? Things that I want to pull out, like right offers, this kind of stuff. Like I can kind of get those down and then get into kind of the busy work stuff, right?
Yeah.
So it's like how can I accomplish and have spots where I want to accomplish things during the day, so when I get home, I can feel like, all right, I did the things I was trying to do. I can sit for a little bit, and almost like it takes that stress out of it.
Yeah, no, that's so true. I think that's extremely true for me too. Is those ideas might form, when like caffeine's hitting, you're in the morning, you're just enjoying your time, sun's starting to come up. Even if I have early 5:30, 6 a.m. sessions in here, I still might have a gap between 7 and whatever, right? Whenever our days are kind of starting to start, there's always like, what do I want to do? Sometimes sitting quietly, right? And almost it seems like you're being unproductive to start the day, but you actually might be more productive in doing that because you know that this work's lined up. You know that you're going to get to it in the next hour, but take this next 30 to 45 minutes to 60 minutes to think about the day, get the juices actually flowing.
Exactly.
Right? It's like not going into the workout right away and squatting the weight or bench pressing the weight. It's like, let's get the body warm, let's move around, make sure you have some fluid in you, right? Make sure you're just, you know the workout you're going to hit, right? But take 10 minutes to get the movements going, carry something, move around a little bit, do some warm-ups, feel the muscles in your body that need to work.
That comes back to, I think we have this revolving kind of plot, just like being intentional, right? So be intentional about how you work out, be intentional about the way you eat, be intentional about your production, be intentional about also then allowing yourself downtime, right? Because that's going to that's what this is about. Like I'm entitled to downtime, right? So I'm going to allow myself to take it.
Yeah. No, I like that. Be intentional about your work. Be intentional about your plan for working and downtime. I think that's it. I think that's simple. Like being as present as possible all the time. To work and to not work.
So recap it, right? Knowing that productivity should happen when, when you put it in your plan. So create a plan, give yourself some time frames to be able to be productive in those time frames, right? And utilize those times appropriately.
Yeah, 100%. Don't let the stresses get to you by doing that. Right? It's allocating the right space in your head to be able to allocate the right space in your life to do certain things. So,
and allow your kids to be bored or tell them to figure it out.
Can we touch on that real quick? Is there anything that you've seen or heard in development in, having very, very young children? What have you seen? What have you tried to stay away from for your kids? What have you tried to do? Is there anything that you've put into practice, just as like a little ending note from a father's perspective?
No, definitely. I think that one thing, and what I think has been impactful for my daughter, right, who's 3 now, is like getting away from all of the toys, right? So she doesn't have a bunch, and she still has a lot, right? But we subscribe to this company called Lovery. They send kind of these toy sets, and they're all like wood, right? They're like physical things you can just use and manipulate, and usually built with some strategy around them.
So, like Lego, I had Legos as a kid, and like you're engulfed in that.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
she's got magnet tiles, and like this Lovery set, they send kind of a different little toys, but for each age that she reaches, right? It'll be like from 1 to 3 months, from 3 to 6 months. And there will be targets and strategies of things that as she gets older, she'll be accomplish new things with these different toys. So we kind of based all of her toys kind of around like those sets, and removing kind of everything that she could have.
That's cool.
And these are fun. It's not like it's not fun, right? They're fun things, but they're engaging, right? But it's not having an abundance of toys, having things that she can be strategic and actually be mindful when she's using, which I think has been impactful.
No, it's cool. Awesome. So there you have it. Thanks for listening.
Love her.
Right?
Send us a message.
Yeah, right. Love her. Yeah. Tag you in the post. Just a point, right? And a point we wanted to bring up in this, the forever need to feel productive. And that's how you measure almost success, instead of just success being
always
working and always just living and doing whatever comes about in your life, and whatever you can be present and enjoying with anyone around you or yourself or your business or your work. A lot of these kind of recorded podcasts just between the two of us, this is probably more the direction that they're heading. Some more lifestyle concepts, fitness oriented, and then we might have some longer form ones. But
some actionable items, right, to take home
Yeah.
to hopefully improve your overall well-being. But let us know what you think. Let us know what processes you put in place to kind of either stay more productive or allow yourself some downtime. We'd love to hear them.
yeah, thanks guys.
Thank you guys for listening.